Hello, Twitch and or YouTube. I hope this works again. Somehow I managed to unplug my mic. Everything is not set up. Life is hard. What are you going to do? There we go. That's the level of lighting I like. Ooh, one more. Boom. All right. Hi, y'all. I'm back. It's me, Josh. I'm going to be going through some TypeScript-eslint maintenance today. Very exciting. Very good stuff. I've mostly finished my travel for the year, so I'm excited just to give it a rest. Do some nice, relaxing issue triage and the like. To recap, for anyone who hasn't been here before, hello, I'm Josh. I'm a full-time open source maintainer in the TypeScript ecosystem. I work on projects such as TypeScript-eslint, the tool that lets eslint and similar tools support TypeScript code. Demian, hello, welcome. How's it going? Oh boy, I see I have a red X. Publish the laziest code as a canary version. Why is that failing? Undefined is not a valid X. What? E44 might be a transient error. I haven't seen this before. Well, anyway, let's go through pull requests and issues. Yay! So just labeling stuff under triage. Sometimes I do newest last, like going through the old ones first. That's what I did last time. But I'm going to go in the opposite order today, just to get a breadth of issues that I see, and start with the newest stuff. So, repo, nullify PR deploys fail on latest node 18.19.0. For everything I look at, excuse me, a few too many potato fritters this morning. I post first thing for the day, reviewing a new issue from Offred, who repeatedly contributed. Very nice. Always happy to see. On our P deploys failing. Oh, you finished watching Game of Thrones. How'd you like that last season? Or good. What kind of tea are you drinking? All right. So, yeah, I've seen this too, actually. Thanks for filing, Offred. That TSX is borked on the latest version of Node. Fruit tea. Ooh, fruit tea is nice. And if I go to switching to dark mode, actually, if I go to, gotta close all that crap. Go to TypeScript eslint and go to main. NVM use, what version of 18 are we on here? Node 18.19.0, which I need to install. So the issue is suggesting we can drop Node 16 support. Why can't we just bump to? We don't need. So the suggestion, because TSX doesn't support Node 16, we might not be able to do this in CI, but I don't think do we actually run TSX in CI? I see we generate contributor responses. We do a post install script with it. That's right. And then if I try yarn with it, yeah, we got this. TSX must be loaded with imports to the loader. What happens if we switch to TSX46? Oh no, because we are on node version 16. PID node version in Netlify. Yeah, I think we'll probably have to pin the node version in Netlify. Deploy settings. Netlify pin node version. Can you do that? NVMRC. Okay, so there's a Netlify UI for this node. Configure. So we've configured 16. So wait, why is it building with a different version of node than what we've configured? That's very confusing. Node 18. So let's stick to 16. Save. Odd. Do we have an environment variable, maybe? Screenshot of us. We wouldn't be able to drop Node.js 16 support until our next major version. So that'd be a breaking change. So for now, we can either use something other than TSX or pin the Node.js version in Netlify to 18.18.2. So weird. Let's see, do we have environment variables? Aha. Deploy previews 18.18.18. Aha. I like how we've it kind of makes sense that it's a secret. That would be whatever. Hidden. But private variables are used instead, and they were set to 18. Wasn't they? It was node version was set to 18. Switched it to this one. Whoops. Hey, well, that wasn't so bad. And the window froze again. Thank you for this. I don't know. It's some weird bug in OBS. Thanks for saying something. And 1 second. Window capture, display capture. Okay. There we go. Should be fixed. Is that working? Well, anyway, it wasn't the most exciting task. It's just that I changed the settings for our node version in Netlify. Hooray! Oh, gonna minus author Joshua K. Goldberg to remove my own issues. All right. So these are both issues that I actually reviewed on a previous stream, so I'm going to skip them. Let's go to pull requests. Alrighty. Excuse me. Ooh, having a tired, lazy day today. Alright, so let's start reviewing this. What is going on? From, oh, same person. Yay. Alright, explicit function return type. Typed function expression flagged despite allowed typed function expressions true. What's going on here? So in this example, we're seeing missing return type on this function, even though it's got a type, because I'm guessing the issue is that it's inside this array thing, so our analysis got confused as to whether it has a type. But the golden rule, explicit function return type, is that you should, it's saying to always have a return type on functions explicitly. It's not something I personally like, but there is an option for the rule. What is it? What's the name of it? Allow typed function expressions. Whether to ignore type annotations on the variable of function expressions. Where is that? Cool. Yeah. So the bug is that this playground shows we're still getting complaint on this thing, even though it's inside of an array. How did we triage this? The rule here is specifically that the rule doesn't accept a typed class property. Yeah, because if you look at the variables, it's allowed, but it's just this class property. Okay, so this, excuse me, this PR thing. All right, so there's this function ancestor has return type that does kind of what I would expect, checks whether any ancestor of the protected function has a valid return type, and it does a few edge cases and then switches over the ancestor to type, continuously going to ancestor pair. That's kind of a standard practice in some of these lint rules. Cool. And this PR is adding support for property definitions. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it looks good to me. So what they're doing is they're adding in a couple of valid cases, class bar, which has a property that, there we go, is typed. And then we have an array of the things. Similarly, we have a property here that doesn't have a type, so we give a complaint. Yep. Great, thanks. Nice, clean solution. Yay! Always happy to have a review without any complaints. Oh, almost forgot. Nice. Great. Let's look at my great. Claymation sheep giving 2 thumbs up. And what's the complaint here? It's Netlify complaining. Take that, Netlify. Okie dokie. That was a good one. Let's minus author Joshua Gilbert. Skip through mine. Oh boy. Oh boy. Same person, Avred, real MVP over here. Add rule. This might take a while to review, so let's see how things go. By the way, as usual, if anyone has any questions or comments, things they want to chat about, I'm always happy to talk. Let me know. Another larger PR here. We're adding a new base rule extension. What's going on? I have a vague memory of seeing these things before. Prefer, promise, reject errors. There's a core base ESLint rule, prefer, promise, reject errors, that says you should reject with something that's an error, not something that is a literal or a function or some other thing. Yeah, similar to how you should always throw errors, like new error or subclasses of error, not random other stuff. Problem is, knowing whether something is an error requires type checking. Yep, so now what we would want is a rule that uses type checking to determine whether something that's rejected is in fact an error. So I'm just going to check this friend out locally. NPM 18.18.2 I think was the, what version did I have? Yarn start. Okay, so looks like this PR is a bit of a chunker here. We got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, and my headphones are almost out of battery. Lovely. So we're looking at this function here. To start is error like, which is used, I want to say, okay, so this is a function that was previously written as being extracted out. It was previously used for no throw literal, so it kind of makes sense we'd extract the same logic from that rule into this new one. If it's an intersection, at least one thing should be error-like. If it's a union, everything should be error-like. Yep, same as before. If it doesn't have a symbol, we don't know what it is, so it's false. Look at its declarations, if it's an error. So if it's a symbol that comes from the standard library and is named error, then we know it's an error. That's great. If it's either a class or interface, check whether it's got a base type that's class or interface. And then if so, true. Otherwise, false. All right, yeah, that makes sense. That's the same code as we had before, so that's great. I can mark that as viewed. Same with the source index. So look at me, already 2 out of 9 files reviewed. That's good. All right, prefer, reject, what is it? Reject, what are we calling this? Prefer, promise, reject errors. Might not be in the search yet. Rules, prefer, promise, reject error. Require using error objects as promise, rejection reasons. Requires type info. This rule extends the base ESLint prefer, promise, reject errors rule. It uses type information, guarantee that promise can only be rejected with error objects. Cool. This is a pretty big incorrect, correct. What is this? What's Comet doing here? Proofreading. Dead code comments? You mean to? Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of a huge list. I don't think we really need all this stuff. It's used. Yeah, so if this comment is used to delineate the sections, and I don't think we need that. Hi, tea time. Today's stream on my end is probably kind of boring, so I don't know that you would miss out too much by going to someone else instead of me. No worries if you do. Just reviewing PRs. Also, hey, how's it going? Proofreading. Right. A lot of lines of examples here. But many more than the base rule. I think each ample, I think, especially since base rules docs are filled out, don't think we need many here. Just a few examples showing the basics of the rule and the stuff added. Base of rule and what it adds. Maybe 5-10 lines tops. Yeah, we don't need quite so many examples, just, you know, the basics of it. TS migration. Ooh, value is exclude and right filter is an indefined function for a type recording. That's a good idea. That's cool. I like that. Ooh, excuse me. All right, so the changes to no throw literal are basically just using is error like instead. So that's relatively straightforward. Now we get to this rule: prefer, promise, reject errors. The real core of this PR. All right, I'm gonna have to yarn build. All right, so what's this rule actually saying? Whenever we see a call expression or a new expression, if we are calling reject parentheses, I see. So we're saying we are only we're only going to look at call expressions of reject calls if the name is reject, and the thing is promise constructor like. Cool. Yeah, I've seen a lot of weird shenanigans on Stack Overflow around people upvoting things that are like way more convoluted but easier to understand if you don't go deep into language. Very annoying. Yeah. Okay. So we're saying if the symbol, wait a second. I've seen this logic before. Yeah, this is enough copy and pasta logic that I feel like this should probably be extracted into something shared. What's this line, 75 or so? Refactor. This is roughly the same logic as error like for checking if it's a built-in of a particular name. Could you extract into a shared helper for this too? Also, I feel like surely there's got to be another time we've used promise constructor for something. Await venable? How do we determine whether something is a promise? Is unhandled promise? Is unhandled promise if it's a void? Is promise like? Aha. So we're actually looking at all promise likes. Interesting. So this goes back to an interesting other discussion we had in typescript-eslint. When do we consider all promise likes, aka venables, and when do we just consider actual promises? So it's interesting to me that other rules actually look at whether something is a venable, whereas this one is just looking at promise constructors. The then type, get type of symbol allocation. So we're looking at whether this is approximately a promise like. Really interesting. That's what no floating promises does. What other promise rules do we have? Promise function async. How do we know whether something returns a promise? So promise function async just looks at whether it's named promise. That's funny. Is Bluebird still a thing? Great question. I believe people still use Bluebird. Updated 2021. This article is right. Updated a year ago. Please use native promises as possible. Cool. So yes, barely still a thing. Good question. Yeah, I find it so interesting that we have so many different ways of finding whether something is a promise. No misused promises. How does this determine whether something's a promise? It's, if returns thenable, if any signature is thenable type. Do I think it's possible that one day JavaScript will natively validate types in runtime, like optional types that will be validated in runtime? No. I don't. I think that would be fundamentally too different of a thing for JavaScript. I think that it's good and intentional in the design of the language, that it's up to the users for now to do type validation at development time. And then if they want runtime, they'll use a library like Zod or something. Maybe in decades, like if we were to continue to work on JavaScript, but I don't think JavaScript will be in any way like what we see today in like 20, 30 years, maybe 40, 50 years. So yeah, no, I don't think we're going to get there for JavaScript. I think we'll just have a better native syntax for types. JavaScript script. Who knows? All right, so yeah, what's really interesting here is every other promise area rule checks whether something is approximately a thenable. Whereas this one, I guess, is the first one that actually cares about reject. So we check reject call in the case of a call expression and a new expression. Rejection. Ooh, I don't like Istanbul ignore if. We don't do that here. Testing either this case can never be hit, in which case to assert the type is non-nullable. Be appropriate. This case can be hit and unit test should cover it. Ooh, yeah. And Istanbul, so the code coverage tool, ignore just is an indication that something's wrong. All right, so what's happening here? So whenever we do a call expression, it kind of makes sense to me. We look at what's being called. Is it reject? And then is it a promise constructor? So if it is a rejection of a promise, then we check reject call. In a new expression, we see that it's a promise. So it would be, here, let's look at the test. For promise, reject errors, test, yes. How does new look here? New promise. Oh boy, we're doing a map. I don't like maps. No. Not a fan of this. Testing. We've been moving away from auto-generated tests. This is true. I should get the issue here. Test in title. That's not quite it. I want to say we had a rule around unit test cases. Maybe I'm wrong. Ah, well. They have a habit of being imprecise and hard to work with statically. to statically analyze. We'd also want to be able to see, to assert, to customize, see more directly what line and column ranges the errors would be reported on. Nice one from me on the math. Can you make these direct unit tests? Can you switch to? Oh man, my nose is itchy. The damn cat shoving his whiskers up in there. All right. Well, anyway, what are we doing? So yeah, we're okay. So when we do new promise, this is a nice test case here. What do I think about this library? Have I ever used it? Typia. Haven't used it. Wait, rings a bell. Was this the like faster Zod thing? Maybe not. That was someone else was saying they're like Zod faster. I don't know. Haven't looked at it. Cool. Good for them. Yeah, do you use it? Have you experienced things? Oh, interesting. Elian, hello. Have you seen this Typia super fast runtime validator? So it's TypeScript assertions at runtime. How does that work though? Is it like there's a build step or some such? Templates. Transformational generation mode. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't use this in any projects that I work on. I don't have a need for it, but I can see why you'd want it. Asserting on TypeScript types at runtime is a very dangerous thing to do. Like you're strongly tying in your development time TypeScript construct to your stuff at runtime. That scares me. But you know, if the advantages are there. The advantages are there. Cool. Yeah, what I'm doing is reviewing this PR here. So if we have a second parameter, so to the executor of the function passed to the new promise, so what is get declared variables? So we're looking at, actually, what does this do? Packages, eslint, plugin, yarn, jest, prefer, promise, reject, workers watch. So what's going on here? So we get the reject param nodes. That's like, what is it here? Reject. And anything that refers to the reject variable. Okay. For each of those references to the reject variable, we check the reject call. So if it's not read or it's not, the parent isn't a call expression, calling it, do we need that last one? Okay. And that's on resolve 5. Oh, if it's just being passed. No errors but had 1. That's cool. Yeah. This is very interesting. What does isRead do? Well, that's not necessary according to the test. Where is reject errors.ts? There it is. Testing. I tried removing, I had searched with the comment, oops, and none of the unit tests failed. Is there a reason to include it that can be tested? Ellie, what have you been up to? How's Astro, Starlight, Docs 4, all that stuff going? I saw some things on Twitter. All right, so what's happening here in this code is either way, whatever is happening, we're at some point calling the reject call. Astro 4 just went out. Yay! Woo. Wait, that's the beta. Blog. Astro 4. Yay! Congrats. That's awesome. I'll look at this later. Putting out fires. Good luck with that. I know that feeling every time there's a new thing. Allow, empty, reject. Okay, so that's an option. Does that come from the core rule? Allows problems to reject with no arguments. Got it. So there's no arguments. And we allow empty, reject, we return. So either there's no argument or it's not an error like, in which case we reject an error. Cool. Yeah, this looks good to me. TS expect. Oh boy. ASC spec chain. That's why Avred filed this issue. Okay. Okay. Chain expression is not one of the valid callee types for call expression. Got it. So accepting PRs, whatever. Great, great, great. Right node as yep. Oh yeah, I wish I could go to React Day Berlin. Looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Fortunately, I'm relaxing at home. Ah well. Extend space rule requires type checking. Cool. Yeah, this looks pretty good to me. Just want to think a little bit about the error cases. What happens if we do like this? Like a promise, resolve, reject. Const other equals reject, other high. Does that fail? Should it? I don't think we need to make this fail. That's a bit esoteric of a use case. Oh yeah, no, I have a React Paris CFP open in my browser somewhere to apply. Definitely want to go there. Been to Paris before once or twice. Liked it. Nice place. What is happening? Huh, cool. Why does this need to be as const? Ah, because of the map. Got it. Oh, interesting. Wait, promise dot. Oh yeah, promise dot reject is okay. Yeah, because undefined it doesn't count as empty. Yeah, this looks pretty good to me. Just needs to apply a few touch-ups. Yep, awesome. This makes me happy. Awesome, really solid work here. Thanks for working on it. And it's interesting that this is the first E-Day. What was it? Promise constructor. Others have just approximated comparisons to Venable. Few touch-ups and refactors requested, but the general direction looks great to me. Yay! I saw there were some threads started by someone in the community reviewing, I think. Yeah. Let's see here. Yep, style shit is right. Yep, they trimmed down. No need to include these demo. The rule doesn't really check for them, and they'd give a TypeScript. Actually, yeah. Can you do new promise 5 in TypeScript? Is that allowed? New promise. 5. Yep. Yeah. Okay. What on earth? Yeah, I don't think we need to check these. Cool. Well, this makes me happy. Reviewed. All right, let's look at more PRs. Minus label, awaiting response. And let's also minus label dependencies. So I need to look at those now. Sure, update contributors. Oh, is this failing? It's just I'm moving around of contributors. Oh, and a removal of quite a few. That's not expected. Okie dokie. And why is it failing? Is this that same node 18 complaint or whatever with TSX initializing? Yeah, it's the TSX thing. So let's retry that, see how that goes. Okay. No throw literal fixed typo in example I've read last week. Notice there's an extra semicolon in something. Oh, fixed it, and then that fixed the syntax. Rules, no throw literal. Yeah, we don't need those comments in there. Yep. Thanks. Which actually reminds me, this rule is strict type checked. I wonder if we should enable. Actually, yeah, I think the other one for a promise reject errors, this should be strict type checked too. What do you think about recommending this in the strict type checked config? I think it'd be reasonable too. So we already include no throw literal in there. Yeah, because if no throw literal's strict type check, we might as well put the promise rejection one in too. Oops, and I meant to. Where's the PR? There we go. So that's this. You always got to post. Merge a little nice docs fix one for throw literal snippets. Moving on. Next. Require or wait, same person. Last one from Avred for now, I think. Yeah. Allow yielding promise and async generators. Oh boy. Async code. What could go wrong? All right. So it's on the require await rule, which says, here, let me post this actually. Require await says, if you have an async function, it should have an await expression. Otherwise, don't make it async. Oops, so what I actually wanted to post was this. Let's pin that one. Of course, things are broken. All right. Now reviewing feature PR for require awaits, and round generators yielding. Always a fun area. Oh boy. So add an option to ignore async generators or support yield promise. So fail async function that only yields numbers, pass async function that yields a promise. ESLint core rule does report on async promise resolve, but we don't, because we know that the return type is a promise. So the general idea is we don't actually always mirror ESLint core directly. So what is, I don't know these things about generators. Brad's asking me, or oh, here we go. Other Josh answered, so I don't have to do a deep dive. Each yield in an async generator also implicitly unwraps promises just like return, so it should definitely be handled like return. Great. So cool. All right. That means the rule itself, or the rather the PR itself, allow yielding promise in async generators. So they had a bunch of past test cases like yield promise resolve and such, but do we ever have still failing test cases here? See how they change things. Looking for the asterisk. We do have existing failures around async generators, so that's good. So these test cases are good. Ooh. Why did I... Oh, what a great question. Why did I choose JavaScript as my primary language? What do you like in JavaScript? I like web development. I liked how you could get something thrown together really quickly and just like an HTML page and get it in front of a lot of people, and also rapidly iterate on it. You can just reload the page and it all works. In comparison to the style of development that I had been doing previously, C++, and prior to that Java, where it's a compile and then a run and it's not visual by default. Whereas HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all working together made me happy for visuals. So it was a good time. But yeah, I like the quickness of the web, and these days I also really like how like it's the glue, the standard language for everyone. Like everyone has a website. Everyone has some developers who are doing things like this. What about you? Why did you choose JavaScript? Question to you, Demi, and anyone else. Looking at the rule, line 120, we're visiting a yield expression, no longer calling it mark, as has delegate gen. So visit yield is a little more complex now. So if we're not a generator, or we don't have an argument, we return. Littles, we don't need to check the definition. I chose TypeScript. JavaScript was an unfortunate side effect. Funny. So wait, why don't we care about yield star 1? I'm confused as to why we wouldn't want this. Should have no errors, but had one. Async generator function has no wait. Okay, so it's that we're ignoring this star. Got it. Amused. Oh, here's a nice little helper. Expand union or intersection type. That's nice. Await. Opening the playground. Yeah, this code looks good to me. Good tests. Passes all the existing cases. Mark scope info dot is async yields to true if it delegates async generator function, or if it yields a venable type, so that later on info can be, or decisions can be made based off of whether scope info dot is async yield was true. Cool. Yeah, this looks good to me. They mention it in the description too. Is they you? Yeah. Or equals false is meaningless. Yeah, so delegate true and delegate false is handled, so we don't need that query filter anymore. Awesome. This is perfect. Thanks. As usual. Yeah, the community of JavaScript is really a selling point, a big strong feature add. Like, yeah, theoretically the language, any language you use can do all the same stuff as any other language, but like having a community that's written a bunch of stuff and documentation and best practices and learnings around that stuff, phenomenal. Hooray! Promises. All right, fix correct message for unsafe unary minus. So can I get rid of drafts from this? There we go. Not that many left. You are the no floating promises one. I'll try to get to it soon. Funny. That one was nifty. Next, less intricate message typo fix. For what is it? No unsafe unary minus. For no unsafe unary minus. Thanks. By the way, Captain Kirk, thank you for sending a PR. Always makes me happy to see people do that. Okay. Also, this is fix eslint plugin. Just correct that. I'll try to get to yours soon, since I know you're waiting. I'll do it after this one, since I already started. All right, no unsafe unary minus 18. Oh my god, yeah, no, that is the, whoops, that is a copy and paste error. Whoops. Thanks for the catch. Oopsie poopsie. And this is, oh, I missed it. Whoops. Oh well. Right. Next up, promises. Oh, Captain Kirk. Weblinger. Excellent. 3 weeks ago and we haven't reviewed? Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh, I did review. Ha ha! We did. Okay, phew. All right. Oh, and you've been waiting 2 weeks. I'm sorry. What fun. Well, it's been 2 weeks. The other Josh hasn't responded, so I'll take a look now and maybe sneeze. Excuse me. Whew. Captain Kirk, are you on the Twitters? Should I post an at? Nothing. Okay. Moving on to another PR for no floating promises. My favorite. This is true. It's my favorite lint rule. I don't know how sad it is that I have a favorite, but that's who I am. All right. Oh boy. It's always fun when you get intricacies around built-in APIs and promises. So we're checking, oh, I remember this now. We're checking whether passing an async function to an array.map is a violation of anything. Now, the problem I have with this in general is that map is just one API. There are a bajillion potential APIs, like .find, for example, that you can accidentally provide promise to. Or maybe not .find, but anyway, other APIs. Like, what if you write your own array find or whatever, or dot map rather. Data dot for each, for example. Is this right? Is this wrong? Yeah, so map is pretty clearly, you don't want to do that properly, but like, where do we draw the line? So it's not technically a floating promise, but like, yeah, so there's no perfect answer, but we'll just allow it because it is really useful to catch this. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Haven't even looked at the PR yet. Let me actually get it locally. Yarn build. Yarn jest, no floating promises. No floating promises. Oh boy. An array of promises may be unintentional. Consider handling the promises fulfillment or rejection with promise all or similar. Or explicitly marking the expression is ignored with the void operator. Yeah, the wording here is always tricky. Another, not always one right answer kind of territory. All right. This isn't so bad. We're already with a lot of tests in this one rule. All right, so you're fixing up some of the existing types for Thenable. That's nice. That's good. Yeah, this was returning empty objects rather than void or unknown. So we're saying, let's look at the test here. 478. Yeah, this is good. Good. Promise array. Oh, I like that you're using declare as the syntax. Yeah, that's nice. I like this. This one's a bit of a head scratcher, knowing that the rule recursively checks finally expressions. However, ultimately the whole expression is not a promise. It's invalid TS, so it's not a float. Wait, it's invalid TS. I gotta put this into the playground. Let's see, did I yarn start already? Oh, I need to yarn and then yarn start. Is the Netlify preview working? Yeah, so this is actually invalid TypeScript. Yeah, we don't need to test this. Fun. But I don't think we need to include test cases for valid type errors. Since array doesn't have a finally, I don't think there is a need to test for the user trying it. We can, if you want to test that yeah, no, I think that's fine as this, as a review comment. By the way, Kirk, if you have comments or things you want to mention, I'm always happy to discuss here too. Just whatever's easier for you. Let's get that playground. All right. So, oh boy. The new case is 1693. Oh boy. So we're using a generic here. Rather a generic function with a type parameter, two type parameters. Yeah, that's an interesting case. T, S extends array of T or promise of T. So it's maybe a promise array is S or undefined. Oh boy. Ugh. Might have like toString, that intersection, like the common object methods. What is happening here? Wait. So the first element of maybe promise array is, what is it? Oops. Const first equals maybe promise array. Oh, wait, no, that is the 0. So maybe promise array is an S or undefined, where the first thing is, yeah, const first equals this. And now first is T or promise of T or undefined. Got it. Am I? All right. Now let's refresh. Got it. Okay, so that's a good case to check. Let's see what else we got here. Floating promise array void. Yep. Ignore void false, so then it's just the floating promise array complaint. Yep. Then we got the test from the issue. Yeah, I agree. It's probably I think it's fine to leave them in. Little variance of cases. It doesn't really hurt anyone. I like the thoroughness. I'd say it's fine. So when this as const is around, we got a complaint. An array of promises may be unintentional. I don't know that I want the rule to always complain when we have an array of promises. Like what if I do like const pending tasks equals promise.resolve? Ah. So it's only if it's mixed? It's only if it's as const. What is? Oh, because it's freeform. It's floating. Got it. So yeah, this is an interesting error messaging question then. You mentioned this. Yeah. How do I describe this? What I want to say, it's not just that it's an array or tuple, it's that yeah, this is tricky. Thinking on the bits of, and thinking on the portions of it, of promises. It might not be an array of promises. It might just happen to have one promise. Yeah, test tuple this way. How do we phrase this? This is such a difficult question. How does one phrase that it's supposed to be array? This array may contain maybe something like, I'm just spitballing here. This array may contain a floating promise. I don't want to specifically suggest. I hesitate to suggest this specific strategy because it's not always the right direction. Sometimes it's that they accidentally introduced async behavior in a loop that should be in series. So just thinking, putting it all together, this array may contain a floating promise, consider playing promise fulfillment or rejection. See, consider is hard we normally try to be a little more assertive in error reports. Users get confused if we're not sure. If we seem not sure. Yeah, I've had funny interactions around that one before. Maybe this array may contain at least one handle the promise's fulfillment or rejection. Yeah, or just use the same error message before. Something like this, maybe? Not sure. Yeah, it may contain a promise. Because sometimes, like if it's a union or something, but so it's accurate and precise or it's accurate though not super precise to say that it may contain at least one floating promise. But we are definitely sure that promises must be ... this list of things. So I don't think there's a need to line 66 include this style knit. No need for this. Otherwise, the code looks good. Looking on line 256, so this is inside is unhandled promise. You're adding in this is promise array, which is a new method, which reuses. Wait, does this reuse logic from is promise like? Should we? Okay, so it calls to is promise like. For const type ts utils .unitype hard stuff map. Probably write this functionally even like return ts utils map dot sum ty. This is complaining. Is this the explicit thingy? Not all code. Okay. False. Does this actually change the lines of code? No, it makes it more lines of code. Never mind. Okay, so if it's an array type, we get the type of the array, and then if it's promise or ship. If it's a tuple type, we look at the tuple type elements, get type arguments. If it's a promise type, return true. Yep. Now I wonder, can we simplify this actually? Yeah, I feel you. I just I like trying it out, and then half the time it's like, ugh, no. Okay, so can we directly return here? Does that still work for everything? It does. Return dot sum tuple elements type is promise like. Cool. So this is just a nitpick here. Oh, right. We were talking about this. I remember this now. Yep. Style. Just nitpicking. The type is always either an array. The type, at least in the current tests, is only ever up to one of these two possibilities, arrays and tuples. So returning early is doable. Ooh, good question. Whether you should add a new option or such, or just including the existing. Yeah, so there's no process specifically. We just kind of feel it out based on intuition and prior art, kind of like the legal system in most countries. We try not to break things for existing users in too confusing a way, or like too unexpected a way. So my instinct is to include an option here. And I'll probably want to CC the other maintainers to see whether the option should be on or off by default. It's a good question. Yeah. Oh, interesting. It's promised like now as an optimization already can receive the type. Wait a second. Type arguments. Yeah, I like the reusing of the type here. Yeah, I don't know. We already have how many options? Yeah, I think the precedent would be to add it to the existing options. Sure. Yeah, get type of symbol at location. Yeah. I'm chatting. Whether to include this under an option. I suspect it's a useful enough case that having it on by default wouldn't offend too many people. But having an option to turn off the behavior might be good. I don't know. I think it's fine for now, and if someone complains, we can always add a feature request to add an option in CC, Brad, and Josh. Yeah, I think it's fine. Cool. So what were the comments so far? Some style nitpicks, style nitpick. Did I say anything of import? Oh yeah, removing some tests. Yeah, I don't think I really had much to say. This is a good PR. Nicely done. Good to me. Very close to approval. Just touching up some testing and the message. It's cleaning up some testing and the message text, mainly. I'll wait a bit to approve and then merge in case another maintainer has an opinion on whether to add an option. This is great stuff. Let's see if there's a good GIF. I don't know that I've searched this term recently. Great stuff. Oh, what cartoon is... Oh, I used to know this. Oh man, what is this? Cartoon... Whatever. Cartoon squirrel? Similar on a boat saying great stuff. I forget what cartoon that's from. Chippendale! Thank you. It's in a library, not on a boat. In an office? Oh, and for doc, right, docs. Yes. Docs, right, and adding an example of this to the docs page would be great. Yeah, just spitballing, but just like a quick little like before and after or incorrect and correct in the docs page would be good. I don't think we need to go too deep on it. Chip and Chap. Oh, that is a great name. That is superior. Good on you, Germans. Cool. All right. Anything else before I move on to another thing? Great. My pleasure. Thank you for sending it. And let's just add that label back. Oops. Where was my... There it is. Oh boy. Getting down. Time for some TypeScript tea time? Have fun with that. No useless template rules, add new rules. I see changes requested. Oh, did I forget to put the label on? Oh. Style shit mentioned it to do. Okay, so time to review. All right. Re-reviewing another PR now on adding a rule. Yeah, this rule I've been wanting for a while. Get pumped. Oh yeah, no, I should hydrate. Thanks for the reminder. I've been getting not as good at it of remembering to do it. Hell yeah. Good stuff. Ba-ba-ba. No useless template literals. Oh, excited. There's a long-standing feature request on us to add a rule that says, like, hey, don't do this 1, 2, 3 template literal quote ABC. That's unnecessary. Instead, you can just do ABC 1, 2, 3. So yeah, this rule checks that, and the reason why it's requested on us is useless interpolation. Why does this use type checking again? Where is the rule? Here we go. Requires type checking. Why does it require type checking? I don't remember now. Let's look at the tests before I look at other things. Some invalid cases. Why do we type check? Oh, it's to know if... Here we go. Here's what it is. It's if you have an interpolation that doesn't actually add any characters, to know whether intersection, this variable here, has the intersection of string or just is a string. That's why we have type checking. There it is. I like this. Unfortunately, I saw it's in recommended type checked, but it'll have to be strict. Bug. Unfortunately, adding to the recommended rule sets is a breaking change. This'll have to be relegated to strict until the next major version. Cool. All right, unfortunately, I have to use the restroom, so I'm going to take a quick ad break, and I'll be right back. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I'm back. There we go. Okay. Now I'm actually back. So let's look at this rule. What are we doing here? Check out the PR. Yarn builds. Yarn just no useless template. Literals watch. Right, so whenever we see a template literal, we do this stuff. And if it's a tag template expression, we ignore it because those are type checked. If we have a single string variable where we have two parts, it's a before and after. The before and after are both empty strings. And there's one expression inside the string, which is an identifier. Why does it have to be an identifier? And it's an underlying string type. What happens if I remove that check? Nothing. Haha. Testing. Either this is never. I tried removing this locally and no unit tests failed. Is there? Can you add a test for a non-identifier like PC? Yeah, what happens if we have a non-identifier in there? What happens if we do like that? Do we still complain? Yeah. So we should complain in this case. But I thought we already have. Huh, we don't have any complaints for just that. So what we need is actually, here we go. String is A for non, yeah, I don't think we have any complaints for non-identifiers. Actually, wait. I think that case gets checked later on anyway. Actually, yeah, so is there no case for like just the template literal? Not as many tests as I thought it would be in this. Yeah. Yeah, this might be guessing. It's nice that the following logic checks for cases like, but could you add an explicit test too, please? Just making sure it looks, yeah. Need to escape those slashes. All right, so if we have a single string variable, we're happy. And we determine that as is the underlying type a string. Sure, why not? Is type flag set. So if it's a union, we check if everything's a string. If it's an intersection, then we check is some string. Console loud characters. why don't we just make this a regular expression, literal? Like you can do that in Node. Log cars is that. New regular expression. There's no need to dynamically compute this. Or even better, no need to dynamically compute the regular expression. I think, right? Let me check. Does it still do what we want? All right, I added a test. Congrats, T-Time. That sounds like an awesome, awesome feeling. So we're saying if there are any quasi with a fancy schmancy character, then we ignore it. We then make sure all the literals, all the things inside our literals. So what happens if we have one with like a mixture here? Like before ABC, after other. Before, middle, other, after. Const other equals ABC, DEF. I want to fix this in some way. What is this complaining about? Oh, not enough indentation. Okay. So what I'm saying here is like this should give a complaint, but it should give a complaint specifically on the DEF part, not the other part. So this is a missing test case. So all our literals. It's possible to have a situation where the rule should complain on something that doesn't have all literals though. Yeah, if we look at this example, I missed part of the copy. Oh well. Here, the rule should report specifically on the ABC. Make sure that's formatted right. Yep. Don't need the backslashes on GitHub. Yep. And it's on the DEF, not ABC. Yeah. Let's have the rule, instead of having the rule report on the entire node, let's have the rule report on each violating literal. Actually, I like this. Then we get a nice, a smaller squiggly, smaller, more precise squiggly range. Squiggly range. What a term. Also, did I see a lack of numbers in testing? These are all valid, but did I mention this already? Oh boy, so it looks like the rule is complaining maybe when you have a temple literal that doesn't need to be that has no quasis. And I don't think that's a statement we want to make. Yeah. That's a stylistic thing. We're ordering. Unrelated changes. You revert. So where in the rule does it check? Yeah, I'll just put it. Yeah, I'll put it on that same all literals. Also, yeah, bug. Also on this every usage, I don't think we'd want this rule to report on template literals with no expressions. It's a stylistic decision. It can be the stylistic decision of whether to use template literals versus other strings when there's no other forms of apostrophes, when there's no interpolation is out of scope for this bug catching rule. I think ESLint quotes would be the right rule. Should catch that. Request undo, revert the unruly changes in other code and add a test. Yeah, so we don't want to stop people from being able to do just like a template literal expression with no interpolation. That's a stylistic thing not handled by this rule. So I can just collapse a whole bunch of files in this review. Just gonna click through a couple dozen of them. We have snapshots rule options now, so I can just skip past those. Oh, we have our own quotes rule. Oops. Whoops. All right, so I still have to review docs. There's member ordering, all these other ones. Resolved. That's an old conversation with me suggesting more test cases. Okay. I think I've got just the necessary files left. Okay. Correct string with number 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, good. This does check. Yep, it checks numbers. Still some missing test cases, I think, around big ints. Bit more testing, a bit more comes to mind. Big ints, do we have false or true? We do have a Boolean. Big ints, symbols, big ints, symbol, big int, symbol, failure, no failure. Functions, function, failure. Yeah, function should be no failure, I think. What other? I feel like I'm missing something. Null. Oh yeah. Null, literal, failure. undefined, what is it, null keyword, undefined literal, failure. Because yeah, null just stringifies to null. Or I'm just not, I feel like I don't need to explicitly call these out. That should be self-evident from the rules logic. So like instead of ASDF dash null, you could just say ASDF slash not interpolated null, same thing. All right. Since there's only one example of extend, I would think this bug. I would think this. Oh, right. No, this is not a bug because it's. Wait a second. Yeah. So. T extends number in the invalid cases. Yeah. Getting closer. Awesome. Mostly requesting changes on making the rule not flag stylistic points. Would love to. I think there's on deeper thought. I think there's some more testing to be done. Excite. And these GIFs feel like over the top. Thanks. Yay! Submitting a review. Okay. Ooh, and linting is complaining. What's linting complaining? Ah, too long ago. Oh well. Cool beans. And moving back to no misused spread, add new rule, no misused spread. What is going on here? Style sheet reviewed 2 weeks ago. And that's about it from review. Josh Sino requested changes in October 23rd. Been a couple weeks since anyone else looked at it. Partially addresses 748. No misused spread. I gave a snarky response. Prevents. Add a new rule that prevents spreading a function. This is an odd description. Oh, I just realized I never reviewed the docs on the last one. Whoops. Should do that too. Where's the netlify? Yeah. What is it called? No useless template literals. Right. Const string. Docs. It's sometimes confusing for folks to see type primitives, name of a primitive used as a variable name. There it is. Yeah, no, the docs look good. related to restrict template expressions. Yep. Yeah, this makes me happy. Okay, back to no misused spread. Another new rule addition. No misused spread. Been a very chill day today. If anyone has anything they want to chat, ask, talk about, I'm always happy to answer. Also, I don't know that my stream elements is working. Do I need to like re-auth or something? Well, that's this. What is happening? Authorize. Okie dokie. And does it work now? There it is. Haha. Okay, whatever. No misused spread. Accidentally doing things in the terminal. So yeah, the rule proposal is that you shouldn't spread on stuff that's not actually meant to be spread, like an array being spread onto an object, or a map or set being spread into an object. Spreading an interval does nothing. Excuse me. Long-standing feature request. The ... dots all over the place. 2019. And so this excellent contribution adds a new rule. You know, it's nice when people review things, but if you don't know this stuff, it can cause confusion. This would be strict for now. In our next major version, we can look, in each new major version, we look at which rules might be promoted to recommended. To avoid a breaking change. This is a functional bug catching rule, so it wouldn't be stylistic. Yep. It's a problem. Anything that catches incorrect logic, directly incorrect logic, is a problem. Well, thanks for the review. Style shit, good stuff. Okie dokie. +1 on adding test for a custom iterable. Yes. Most of the time, proofreading. Most of the time is kind of a vague statement. Users might not understand. It's imprecise. Then imprecise vague statements. Users may not understand it. Instead, let's speak to what this rule is specifically trying to avoid. What are we trying to avoid? Spreads that don't do anything. They don't do anything, right? It's like values equals new set, A, B, C. Result equals values. Just allows using the spread operator on values that can't be spread. There you go. Let's go to the file. No misused spread TS, no misused spread test TS. Oh. Wow. Simpler than expected. Oh, right, because they said only working with functions right now. Spread element. All right, so there's no need to split this out. Style out of curiosity. Is there a, not out of curiosity. Is there a reason to split this out? You'd wanted to split this out instead of having it in line in the bottom of function. Inline would mean an inferable type for node. Do we have spread element node anywhere? Funny. Now, do we have to explicitly say returns void? Is that a thing we typically do? Yeah, we do normally say void. Yeah, just wondering why this listener is outside of the thing. All right, services, ES node. Okay, so we actually have a new way of doing what they're doing here. Like a nice little helper. So services dot get type at location takes a node argument. So we don't need this other thing. So we don't need the checker. And look at that. Much less code. We style refactor cleanup rather. We have a new thing for this, and this was actually something we mentioned on the blog under type checker wrapper APIs. Okay. Is almost always a mistake. Spreading a function assigns no properties. Spreading a function does with no properties does nothing. No custom properties. Proof reading maybe. Cool. So my biggest gripe here is that if we add this rule as is, as in it only does function stuff, it would be a breaking change to later add objects, map set, and so on. So we're gonna have to request changes on things. So feature. If we add the rule as is, only looking at functions, it'd be a breaking change to later also look to later add in maps, sets, etc. So we're going to need, I think the rule should include all the recruit all of what's requested in the issue to start. We know if any of them give you grief. Happy to help. Good start. Looking good. Requesting, expanding, and a few small cleanups, but this is a great start. Now, I don't know why. Sometimes I just feel disingenuous with GIFs. Sometimes I don't. And I don't know. Today I'm just like, ugh, none of this reflects what I'm actually trying to say. Cool. Almost down to the end of this. Yeah. Look at that. 3 more and only 2 of them from humans. Switch exhaustive check. Add an option to warn against a default case. I feel like I remember this from a while ago. Okay, so still waiting on Brad for this one. He might not have seen it. So I'll ping him offline separate from this. And then throw on invalid update expressions. This is from other Josh. I think also waiting on Brad. So yeah, I think we're done with pull requests. And this is actually a pretty good time to stop. We've been here almost 2 hours. So yeah, last question for the chat is who should I raid? Actually, before I finish, let me see if there's anything stale that I should close out. No, we're good. Let's see, anything under triage and issues minus author Joshua Goldberg. Yeah, nope, nothing. All right, yeah. So for raiding, where's the raid channel button? Got a few people here. Oh, let's go raid Jen. I haven't spoken to her in a little bit. Anyway, this was an absolute pleasure. Oh, sorry, Croucher. Maybe next time. But this was a pleasure. Thanks, y'all, for watching. To recap, I'm Josh. I work full-time in open source software, so let me know if there's anything you ever want to chat about with TypeScript or code or GitHub or whatnot. See y'all around. Bye.